Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Stop Doing Nothing TV. As you know, we have a lot of great entrepreneurs on the show, and today is no different. We are joined by Linda Lopeke, who has a very interesting journey. I've often find it that a lot of people we talk to, they have some great stories, but they don't have great stories of challenges and recovery. And we're going to, be able to hear that today from Linda. So as you guys probably see on the screen right here, Linda has joined me today. And hey, Linda, how you doing?
I'm good, Patrick. Thank you for having me on your show.
My pleasure. And so everyone knows where we're coming from. I come from Oklahoma City. Can you share with us where you're located?
I'm just outside of Toronto in Canada.
Okay. And most of the U.S., so south of you, is either on fire or covered with snow right now. How are things? How are things up there?
Things are very calm and cool. We have our traditional fall, very comfortable temperatures happening.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And so have you been on lockdown like the rest of us? Have you been keeping yourself safe and healthy at home?
I've been on lockdown since last November, actually. So,
okay.
March is the time when I would normally be off lockdown.
Okay.
So I always look forward to that. But then this year was different because that's when COVID hit and everything locked down. So I've been in lockdown a long time now.
Got it. So you're probably healthier and at less risk than most of us with your kind of getting a jump on the curve, not really on purpose, just kind of the way it happened to work out. One of the things I wanted to just kind of start with is to kind of walk through, maybe your story of your journey of where you've come from. I noticed that you first started kind of right around the 2002 timeframe when you were teaching at a school. So before you kind of went off on your own, can you kind of explain to us what you were doing before you started this great program?
Actually, I started my first business in 1967.
Okay.
It's only Smart Start that began around the turn of the century. And in 1982, prior to 1982, which was when I started my own business, which was a management consulting practice, I was a computer scientist and systems engineer.
Got it.
And I worked in international finance and banking.
Mm-hmm.
I started my own business in 1982 and dealt primarily with corporate clients at that time.
Okay.
Around the turn of the century, there's a leadership conference that Queen's University has each year called Q-Lead, and they invite top entrepreneurs to come and speak to their student population and give guest lectures. So I was there giving one on entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And after my lecture, the students in the lecture hall all rushed at me and they started talking to me about the different business ideas that they had and wanted to develop, but they couldn't find any support or guidance for how to bring these ideas to market. When they tried to talk to their parents about it, of course, their parents just wanted them to get their degrees and get a real job. They did not want them to go into business for themselves. And they were having a really difficult time. And they had such brilliant ideas and so much enthusiasm. It was clear that they believed in themselves, and they just needed someone to help them bring their dreams to life and who didn't discount them for their age or their lack of business experience or anything like that. They reminded me of myself back in the early 70s when I was given a number of great opportunities based on what my bosses had seen as a spark of talent or, whatever. And in that exact moment, I decided that I was going to help these kids. And I didn't know exactly how I would do it at the time, but I ended up creating the Smart Start Business Success Accelerator. And since then, we've gone on to help thousands and thousands of new businesses succeed online, market themselves strategically, and live a business stream.
Sweet. So when you say business accelerator, that's something that, I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs hear these days. Most people just think you hang your flag out and you get some business cards and you get a website and you're up and running. Can you kind of explain maybe what the difference is between somebody going at it on their own or working with an accelerator? I mean, the definition of an accelerator is obvious, but if I were to come to you, what would be the difference between just coming to you and starting on my own?
The difference is that for your business to succeed, regardless of who your market is or what industry you're going to compete in, there are 12 foundational, what I call core competencies that you need to have as a business owner in order to make your dream survive and unfold the way that you imagine it would be.
Right.
Now, most people starting up a new business simply do not have the capital resources to hire a professional of my caliber to help them, because we cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And typically, the new entrepreneur is bootstrapping. They may have a small number of loans from parents, friends, family. They may have a small bit of money or credit cards that they can use. Is very typical to finance your business with credit cards. But what they don't have is a trust fund or a lottery that they can tap into to help them buy the expert guidance that they really, truly need. And it's difficult for them to evaluate the people that do offer courses and programs and coaching and this and that they can make investments in, because they don't have the foundation to be able to vet these people, to be able to evaluate the quality of the work that they're producing. And so we started this program to help address some of that.
Okay. So when I'm on the website and I see these 12 competencies, you, first of all, you got very creative. I love the fact that all of them begin with P of some sort. So I can tell you're big into alliteration. You like to make sure that words all work well together. So when I, for example, if I were to pick some of these 12 and I want, our listeners and our watchers to basically understand kind of the work that you do, I want to define some of these, if we can just take a quick second for that. Because if you're saying these are the 12 things people know, for the new entrepreneur, if they need to know, for example, proficiency, what does that skill mean when you teach it to people?
Well, proficiency has to do with the delivery of the customer experience and the products and services that you have. Those 12 P categories that you're looking at are descriptors of how the content that we teach is divided up. But the skills are actually part of a 3-step process that every business owner has to address. For example, regardless of what business you're in, you have to be able to find your perfect people.
Got it.
And the 4 things that contribute to that are your strategy, your planning, your revenue, and the relationships that you build in your ecosystem.
Okay.
The second step every business owner has to do is create compelling products and services. So the 4 core competencies that impact that are branding, pricing, processes, and tools and technology. And then finally, you hope to build a standout business if you're going to make competition irrelevant and succeed with your undertaking. And the 4 core competencies you need to master to make that happen are design, buzz, productivity, and social media.
Got it. So when someone works with you, I'm guessing that these are the 12 areas, basically, these are the 12 skills or the 12 areas where you help them either define their business or improve their business. So do you primarily work with new businesses that have none of this at all? Or can, like someone who, like me, who's been in business for a while, can I come to you and get some help on these things?
I'm primarily working with underperforming businesses.
Okay.
Although we do have some clients in the program who are completely new. It's actually better if you start in the program when you're completely new, because you will start with a much stronger foundation and you will waste a lot less time and money. But typically people come to us after investing anywhere from $10,000 to over $100,000 in courses, programs, coaching, and consulting that does not advance their business in any way. So they end up questioning themselves, do I even have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Mm-hmm. Or they question the validity of their ideas. And they think, well, maybe I just have an idea that nobody wants. But when they come in, what we find is they just have not been able to get the guidance needed to understand how to take that idea, build it into something that's sellable, mm-hmm. and communicate that effectively to the target market, and then do the marketing in a strategic way that allows them to convert the idea from just an idea to something that creates sustainable income for them over the long term.
Got it. So I know part of what you have down here, is very involved in the marketing side of things. I would think branding would fall underneath that. I've always kind of believed that it doesn't really matter how good your product is if your marketing isn't great. I'm kind of curious of your take on that. Is the actual product or that someone is selling the widget? Let's say they sell a widget or a service. Is that more important than the marketing, or is the marketing more important than the actual product? Is it a chicken and the egg thing? Do they have to be done at the same time? I'm kind of curious as your take on that.
I would say they have to go hand in hand. The people that come into Smart Start have had generally a lot of bad experiences with their investments in the past. The reason for that is because those people that they invested in had 10 out of 10 marketing, but mm-hmm. 0 out of 10 business experience or knowledge or expertise. So they've bought into a bit of an illusion. And then what happens is they are very disgruntled with their experience, and they are sometimes sometimes are held up to be the reason their business didn't succeed, when mm-hmm. in fact the reason their business didn't succeed is because it wasn't set up on a proper foundation, or the people that they had chosen to work with initially did not know how to adjust the marketing for specific purposes.
Got it. Okay.
But however, let's say that you have 10 out of 10 marketing, mm-hmm. and you do sell your product or service, and your product or service is crappy. That's only going to harm your reputation and put your business into the ground faster as well, because we're in the age of the internet now, and mm-hmm. you cannot hide behind those kinds of failures. People are going to hear about it. They're going to talk about it. It's going to spread like wildfire, and everything that goes on the net stays on the net. So now the onus is on the business owner, not just to have great marketing, but to mm-hmm. make sure that their products and services actually live up to the promises that they're making in that marketing.
Got it. So would you say, because I know there's a lot of emphasis on reputation and branding, would you say that your reputation in business is almost something you have control of, kind of the tactics that get you there, but how people perceive you and how the word is spread about you, that's almost something that's completely out of your control. You can put some assets out there, but how people perceive you and your reputation, that kind of spreads on its own. Is that kind of a true statement?
Well, what we cover that in the power of positioning and the power of presence. So what happens there is you cannot delegate or outsource your reputation. And it takes months, if not years, to develop your professional credibility, the authority behind your programs and your products and services. and the customer testimonials or social proof that attest to the results your business delivers to clients and customers. If you are not careful about how you are behaving and delivering and supporting your client base, then you can lose that reputation in a nanosecond. But you are in control of it for more than you would think, in that it's up to you to address the perception of what you're doing, the integrity with which you're serving and supporting your clients, the value that you're bringing to the table and delivering on a consistent basis. And yes, you may find the odd time a disgruntled client or customer might say some nasty things about you. And what you need to be doing to protect yourself from that is to make sure that your processes and systems are frictionless, that you're living up to your promises, that the majority of people who are interacting with your marketing or buying your whatever you're selling, their experience is a contradiction of what the nasty person is saying about you. We call this the reasonable man test. So if a reasonable person experiences your products and services and in a way that is not the way the nasty person is talking about you, you have nothing to worry about.
Got it. So if someone hears something bad about me, it's my job, if they come to me, to make sure that everything about me kind of proves that, but almost what that bad person is saying has little to no validity.
No weight. Yeah, no validity, no weight, no substance.
Got it. Okay.
And since you're in charge of your behavior and how you're positioning and running your business, then as long as you are doing the things that you need to be doing, then it doesn't matter if the odd person has something nasty to say about you, because you're not going to be liked by every person in the world. The only thing you can control is that your behavior and your execution does not align with what the odd, nasty person is saying about your business.
Correct. So I think on the internet, if we learn about every organization, like you said, you can't please everybody, and you're always going to find, I don't like the term hater, but you're always going to find someone that just finds something to not like about you, even if you're pristine and you have a great history and you've got 5-star ratings and you deliver a great experience and you have great marketing. There's always going to be someone, wouldn't you say, that is just not going to be happy because they're just not a happy person.
Right. And you cannot please to infinity. That is not a good business tactic.
I like that.
There are some competitors who use dirty tactics to try and destroy their competition. So they will plant nasty stories or nasty reviews or negative comments on purpose. But when your behavior is not equal to this minority of nastiness out there about you, a reasonable person will see that for what it is. Or they will be able to say, well, that was not my experience, must have been an anomaly. We don't always choose the right clients and customers. Sometimes we make mistakes, we have a bad fit, the person that we're working with just cannot be satisfied, no matter what.
Right.
But you can only do the best that you can do, and you can only behave in the most honest way that you can.
Got it.
And if you do that on a consistent basis, when the trolls try to take you down, they will not be able to.
Good. I love that advice. They can't take you down if there's nothing to take down. I know you said you kind of started this first business of your own in, that was 82. And then this particular program, Smart Start, was this the one that started in 2002?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I got the idea in 2000, and I started talking about it publicly in 2002. In 2003, I said that we were going to commit $50 million to supporting the business dreams of young entrepreneurs, any entrepreneur. really. There's no age requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I set up to do. And that's what we are doing. I put it online in, I think the website went up in 2007 in the spring.
Okay. That's what I saw. That's when you kind of went online, right?
Yeah. And then we brought in our first participants in the program in 2008.
Okay. So that takes us to 2009 when it sounds like an impaired driver and you had a bad interaction. And I don't want to dwell too much on that, but I know that's been a big challenge in your life. And it's caused you to have a brain injury. When that happened, was it a humongous impact on the business? Did you kind of have to work on recovering while running the business? Did a partner run this business? Since we're talking about entrepreneur and businessship, I'm just kind of curious how that really tragic injury in 2009 affected this great thing that you were starting.
It didn't really affect it as severely as you might think, because I had set up the business to be able to run without me.
Okay.
And that is the thing that most online entrepreneurs are trying to do right now. They want to have a business where they can create sustainable income without having to work themselves into the ground 7 days a week. And in our first year of operation, I had just myself working in the business, but I had designed all of the systems, processes, and procedures in a way that anyone could step in my place and know exactly what to do. So the only thing that was different, the business continued on just as it had been planned and designed without me. The only difference was I couldn't do any one-on-one coaching or consulting, because while I was dealing with the catastrophic brain injury, I could not speak, walk, talk, read, or comprehend anything.
Okay.
So but on the next day after the accident, a stranger was able to come into my business and know exactly who had to be contacted to have their meetings canceled and explain what had happened, why I wouldn't be there. And that was very easily done. All of the other things kept on just as they had been planned out. And it just so happened that we had 18 coaching clients at that time.
Right.
And each of their programs was about $300,000 worth of service. So when that had launched the year before, in fact, I had launched that 1 year and 2 days before the accident. So we had the $5.4 million worth of work to deliver. And as part of the launch, I had said that we would give them up to the year end of 2009, because they purchased in September and October of 2008. So they'd already had a full year of coaching. They'd been in it's a full year thing. They had already had all of that. The only thing that they would be missing would be their extra months. And because the program is designed that you begin working on your business immediately and implementing things right away, you are already strong and established. It just coincidentally happened that I couldn't give you free chats with me to continue the coaching after your implementation because I couldn't speak.
Got it. Okay, good deal. So it sounds like probably one of your strengths, if not the strongest part that you handle, is just business process setup, which allows the business to run without you because it had hardly, like you said, any impact at all.
Yeah. Well, the contribution that I think I make to our clients in the program the most is the depth and breadth of my own professional experience. So if they say, I want to achieve ABC, I already know what's going to have to happen to make that a reality. And then I can explain that to them and guide them through the execution of that to the highest level of performance required for them to be successful.
Okay.
And the other thing too is, because I've been doing this for 50 years, I see things that they cannot see. And they don't know, they know what they want to do and they know where they want to go ultimately, but they don't know how to get there. And they don't know what's the next thing I need to focus on, or what is the order of events that I need to address to make this happen. I know that. And so that's the missing gap that I fill in for them. And then because I've served so many thousands of clients and managed so many projects and built so many businesses myself that have all done very well, I have grown my own professional disciplines to very, very high levels. And so when I give them advice about something that they might do or how to handle a particular problem that comes up for them, it's coming from real world experience, not from theory.
Got it. That's the key part that I think people should, as they're listening, should take. One of the things they should take away is just your breadth of experience. I'm sure 5+ decades of experience. That if you say something, or you say something should be a certain way or should not be a certain way, you're not speaking off the cuff. You've probably been there and done that for most things in the business world.
Yes. Now, I'm not saying that I know everything there is to know about everything, because I don't. But if I give a piece of advice, it is not arbitrary or random. And I always explain why it is, so that they have a context for understanding. The whole point of our program is to help people understand how to think critically about their business and how to make decisions from a point of strength, not a point of following the masses. Because a lot of the mass guidance out there isn't worth anything.
Right. It gets you mass or average results.
Yeah, I see that over and over and over again. So I don't give advice for the sake of being arbitrary, or even, the top expert about that. But if I give you something, I will always be able to explain why it's important to do it that way, and what to look for in terms of the traps that you could fall into, and how to evaluate whether what you're doing is how you need to be doing it in order to get the result that you want.
Got it. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that part of the reason I was able to build up the skill to the level that it is right now is that I'm myself a leading expert in 6 professional disciplines. And when I was building my consulting practice, I only took the jobs that my competitors failed at. So all of my experience comes from turning around situations that others could not resolve. And the way I was able to do that was because I just see things differently than other people. And that allows me to spot the gaps and know what needs to be done to turn that particular situation around. But I didn't get to this point on my own. I had 5 fantastic mentors throughout the course of my own career. These men gave me opportunities that risked their own careers to capitalize on helping me grow professionally. And when I screwed up, they didn't mess around with that. They told me right away why that was wrong and what I needed to do to correct myself. It's not enough to be smart. You have to have people looking out for you who want you to succeed and who are willing to tell you when you're off base and why you're off base. So I had the benefit of those kinds of mentors, and a lot of them, they didn't have to spend time on me. And I remember one in particular really nasty afternoon of correction. And that particular guy, he said to me that he could see that I had talent and I was really smart and ambitious, but that if I kept on this path, I was going to go nowhere. And he knew that he was betting that I would be smart enough to take his advice and correct my course. And I did. And I was never the same kind of executive after that. And so I kind of I actually created Smart Start to honor my mentors, because I knew that I would not have achieved the tremendous levels of career success that I had without their guidance. And when I saw these kids coming to me with all of their business ideas, I just felt that I had an obligation to give back, because I saw myself in their enthusiasm. I was given opportunities and guidance and correction when I needed it. And it just seemed a natural course of events to do the same for them that had been done for me.
Yeah, I call that lifting people on the shoulders behind you. I mean,
so that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, someone put me on their shoulders when I started my business back in 1998, and very much like you, I feel obligated to do it with people that I see starting up every single day, whether it's correcting minor issues or, like you pointed out, sometimes people don't even know where to start. I see that a lot. Just they think that. They think that, the first thing you do is get business cards, or the first thing you do is build a website, and all that stuff is just, no, it just doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
On your website, it looks like basically people apply to work with you and apply to get you to invest with them. So, for our viewers and people listening to the podcast, if they want to work with you, which it sounds like it would be a great experience, and they go to the website, can you kind of give an idea of maybe, if I'm going to go here and I'm going to apply, is it a long application process?
The application is long, yes.
Okay.
There are no wrong answers to the questions. But in order to make sure that I can help you, I need to know where you're at mentally right now, what your idea is, what assets you have in place, and what you want to do with your business. The very first step that we take is ensuring the economic viability of your idea.
Okay.
So I can't help you if your idea doesn't have a market or is not economically viable for whatever reason. So we always check that first. The next thing we look for is your attitude and openness to learning, and your seriousness about doing the work. Because for every person that we accept into the program, I will be donating 6 figures worth of support to the individual, and they will be paying a very small percentage, usually about 5% of my fee for that. The reason we have our participants spend money as well on the program is there is no reason in the world why I should be more invested in your business than you are.
Right.
So we have some strict rules around that, in that if in your first 30 days you don't like what you're learning or you don't like working with me, you can opt out. You won't have to pay anything further. But at the same time, if you're not doing the work required or taking it seriously, we will expel you from the program.
Got it. So it's not just you accept everybody and everybody cruises through. They have to work to get in. If they're not working to get in, they're going to be kicked out whether or not they want to be.
Yeah, only one person has been expelled in 20 years.
Okay.
You also have to go through an interview process. So let's say that we pay for the research to determine your economic viability.
Okay.
And then if you have an economically viable idea and a market, then you have an interview with me. You can ask me all kinds of things. You can't buy into the program at that point, though, although I will explain how it works. To actually get in, you then have to do 2 more interviews with people who are in the program right now. And we try to match you up with someone who's as close to your type of business or idea as you have, so that you have something in common with them. The idea there is you ask them any questions you want about the work they're doing, the results they've been getting, what it's like to work with me, because, I'm pretty tough, but I think toughness is needed sometimes.
Probably tough but fair.
So you can have a completely open conversation with current participants more without worrying about offending me. Not that you would anyway, but it just gives you that extra chance to make sure you want to do this work, because I'm pretty sure when you have those interviews with our participants, they're going to tell you they never worked so hard in their life. Right. But they also never got the results that they're getting now either.
Plus,
and
plus they're great spokespeople for you.
Yeah. So so they do that. And then if you still want in after going through all of this front end stuff, then we will sponsor you. Okay.
So that's the application process. And if people want to do that, let me see, what was the exact website? So that's at smartstartcoach.com.
And then you click on program.
And then they click on program at the top, and then you eventually get to the apply, where there's a show me how button, and then there's an apply here button. I was walking through it several times today.
Yeah.
So apply here, and then you get to that application. So as we start to wrap up here, I know you have something coming up in September that's kind of a different part of Smart Start. Can you talk about that a little bit? What do we have coming up this month?
That is the same program that we've just been talking about.
Right.
We have only room for one more person in the September cohort. All the other seats are filled.
Okay.
We ran the applications and interviews in August, but like I said, there is one more open spot. I don't know when you're posting this interview.
Hopefully that's a couple of weeks.
Even if we've already started there, you can still apply for the next cohort.
Okay.
So you would just it'll say at the top of the thing when we're taking applications for. So I think right now it says on that page, there's still one spot open for the September cohort.
Right.
There will be one or two spots opening up in October, November.
Okay.
So we update that page anyway.
Okay, we're back. For those of you that were wondering why the video cut right there, it's because unfortunately we lost power, but I've got Linda back on the horn here. And so you were just explaining that if September's full, you're going to have another class opening up pretty soon. Is that correct?
Yes. As different people graduate from the program, their spots open up. So the page will always tell you how many spots are available right now.
Okay.
But we always deal with the people in the order in which they apply. So if it's something you want to do, you should apply now and get on the wait list for the first available opening.
Okay, so don't wait until October or November. Apply right now.
Don't wait till then.
Okay, because you kind of get first in the queue for maybe a program that comes up in a couple of months.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. I got some notes here that to follow you on social media, because we're all big fans of social media these days. It's just basically every place. It's Smart Start Coach on LinkedIn, Smart Start Coach on Instagram and Twitter. So cool that you got branding on all those. And then on Facebook, it's Smart Start Business Club. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Got it. And you have your own podcast, and that's primarily at anchor.fm, right?
My podcast is available on Anchor, but I originally started it because I had this a thing going on with Amazon. So Alexa, which is their AI tool, serves my podcast to Amazon customers around the world every Thursday night at 9:00.
Very cool. So it just shows up when people subscribe. Alexa just pops up and plays it for them?
Yep.
That is very cool. Well, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on, first of all, in 2009, I just found that, after I was listening to your story, I just found that amazing that your business it's not that it didn't suffer any hiccups, but you're so good at systems, which is what you teach other people, that it's not like you lost all of your income. Your business, the people that you had employed, or your contractors, all that stuff kept on going, is what it sounds like.
That kept on going. Only the personal interaction pieces with me had to come to an end, and that wasn't a choice. It just was the way it was.
Right.
Now, we didn't do as much business, of course, but the books and courses and everything continued selling. Just a couple of weeks before I had published my insider guide to pricing anything you sell, and that continued to sell until I was back at work in 2017.
Okay.
Because it took 8-9 years of rehab to get back to where I am now, living independently again and all that. But after the accident, I knew I had written the book because I recognized my face on the cover, but I couldn't read it myself, and I certainly could not have explained anything in the book. So,
it's just
but I can now. I updated it actually. I updated it in 2017.
No, but by listening to you and by the 3 pages of notes that you wrote for me, I would have never guessed that you had been through all that. So that's just really kind of a credit and a testament to how good your recovery is going. So congratulations, great work.
Oh, thank you. I didn't learn all my languages, though. I only relearned English. At the time of the accident, I spoke 5 human languages and 10 computer languages.
Got it. When you were talking about your early technology history, it sounded very much like mine. I'm a recovering software developer. I used to spend 8 days a week coding, heads down, building databases and working in assembly language and COBOL and assembler and all that jazz.
Yeah. So the importance of logic and structure and all of these things. Yeah.
It's that's how my brain thinks. My brain thinks in pure logic, and oftentimes when I have to invoke my emotional side, I don't do very well. But I'm living and learning.
Aren't we all?
Exactly. Well, thanks again for your time. And as soon as we get this episode out, I'll let you know so we can get your whole audience listen to it also.
Yes, I'll help you promote that when it's ready. You just let me know.
Got it. Okay.